Good morning. It is 9:31. We'll go ahead and call the Neighborhoods Monday, November 3rd meeting to order. We'll go ahead and start with introductions. To my left, Mr. Dennis.
Good morning, Garrett Dennis, Administration.
Brandon Russell, Council Research.
Mary Stefopoulos, Office of General Counsel.
Philip Peterson, Council Auditor's Office.
Ken Amar, City Council District 1.
Randy White, District 12.
Mike Gay, District 2.
Good morning. Chris Miller, at large, Group 5.
Ron Salem, Group 2 at large.
Good morning. Tyrona Clark Murray, District 9.
Good morning. Raul Ayers, District 11.
Will Lane in District 3.
Good morning. Matt Carlucci, at large, Group 4.
All right. Thank y'all this morning, and good morning to our visiting council members. Before we get started, we'll go ahead and open up for public comment. I got speaker cards here. You'll be given 3 minutes to speak on a bill that we will be discussing. So please make it relative to that. The first item will be Stanley Pipes in regards to 2025-727. You'll state your name, and you can say your address on record, and you'll be afforded 3 minutes, sir.
Stanley Pipes. I'm the district manager for Harbor Waterway Special District, and for Bill 727, I'm just here to answer any questions. And my address is on file.
Thank you, sir. Next is Cornell Oliver. Yeah. You got 3 minutes, sir.
Yes, my name is Garner Oliver. And I'm going to say this. One of the things I did in this community, I've done a lot of deep, in-depth research on my family. And I found out that I am a descendant of Nicholas Andrews. Nicholas Andrews married a woman by the name of Curlew. We're freedmen. What I found out in the old city limits before they burnt down all of the records in old Moncrief Springs.
Is this in regards to a specific bill?
Mr. Aries' bill.
Okay.
When I talk about investments in Black American communities or anything that involves Black American communities, we've been overlooked. The lack of respect for Black Americans who have deep roots going back to the Freedmen's Bureau has never been recognized or respected. You're taking initial steps in the right direction, but the overarching goal and what I'm going to ask is I want to have a conversation with the Department of Interior underneath the Indian Affairs. Because what I want is American freedmen as a recognized, protected class of Indian affairs. You talk about investing in this county as a whole, but when the truth comes out, most of y'all are immigrants. Because when it comes down to the 14th Amendment, I am the embodiment of it. My ancestors of the Andrews family is the documentation in this community of it. Everybody that comes after me is immigrant. There are 2 Supreme Court cases that are moving. One is putting an end to the broken immigration system. And the problem is we let too many Ellis Island generations into this country. And the biggest headache is the Jewish community with wealth and money that came from that generation. You told so many lies, and I'm learning so many truths. You never recognized us. You never respected American freedmen. Everything in the old city limit, even this building, belongs to freedmen. That's the kind of stuff y'all don't talk about when it comes to the 1901 Great Fire.
All right, thank you, sir. Next, we got John J. Nooney. Please reference, stay on a bill, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Hello, I am John J. Nooney, Jacksonville City Council Resolution 2023-0819. I'm in City Council District 4, CPAC 3, School Board District 3. Okay, I'll be touching on agenda items. And I just need to take a breath for this one. Okay, we're going down. Agenda items 1, 2, 3, 2025-0600 go from $3 to $5. Make it 10. All right, number 4, 2025-0727, BBB, Big Beautiful Bertalin. That's JPA, JEA, Reed Island. You know, it's not waterways. Agenda item 6, number 7, 2025-0767. Okay, we got some woke joke legislation. City adaptation plan park on Pottsburg Creek next to a Noah Ray FEMA house, 2025-0019. Number 10, 2025-0772, DIA, drugs including alcohol. Need another round on maybe this side. All right, agenda item 15. 16, 2025-0781, $15 million direct contract. 17, 2025-0782, public hearing, Spot J, Launch J. 18, DIA stuff. Okay, maybe need another round on that side. All right, 2025-0795, JSEB. Okay, here we go. All right, Jacksonville Journey Forward. No, we got Ed Randolph. We got Gregory Grant, Todd Red Carpet Rubin. Okay, I got plenty of time here. We got Richard Sparky Reichert. No, we're making a movie. JSEB's going to be big. It's going to be worldwide, international, good stuff. All right. Okay, where are we? 21. 2025-0797, Kids Hope Alliance, Jack's Journey Forward, Youth Empowerment. You got Terrence Freeman, John Everett, Charles Griggs. You know, one thing I just want to share with all of you. You know, here is the 2001 annual report, Northeast Florida Regional Council. You know, over 20 years ago. Here we got the fine stuff. And here we just have the special committee on the future of downtown. Okay, I got to see the lights coming on. That's all right. And then here, Northeast Florida Regional Council. Here's a favorite, River Dance. I'm in this thing. You know, summer 2005. Okay, countdown. JTA board meeting and CIP. All right. The councils in Pottsburg.
Thank you, Ms. Nooney.
Thank you.
We do have one more speaker, Daniel Van Sickle.
Good morning, Council. My name is Daniel Van Sickle, and I'm here on behalf of the Jacksonville General Apprenticeship Association. Our programs are made up of registered apprenticeship programs that cover Northeast Florida, and we employ as well as train the future workforce of our community. The trades include carpentry, electrical, HVAC, operating engineers, sheet metal working, pipe welding, and plumbers. We have 949 registered apprentices as well as 156 registered apprentices. In addition to our contractors, employ 3,500 craftsmen and women throughout the city and are some of the largest contractors in Florida. Our programs are experiencing unprecedented growth, and as nonprofits, our resources have been stretched to meet this demand. We would like to be included in any conversation surrounding Bill 2025-781 with funding to help out our apprenticeship. These funds will be used for many things. Examples would be textbooks, certifications such as OSHA, first aid, CPR, entry-level driving training for CDLs, computers, overhead projectors, tools and consumables. Personally, I'm the apprenticeship director for the Electrical Training Alliance of Jacksonville. We've been here since 1945, so we have deep roots in our community. The Jacksonville General Apprenticeship Association represents some of our largest contractors, and these are pillars of this community. Companies such as Miller Electric, Ray Sheet Metal, WWEA, Ferber, J. Williams, Cogburn Brothers. These are companies that are building this city, and all of these companies that I just mentioned get their apprentices from us. And with the way how resources and the way how financing is today, we feel like money spent on us, designated from this council on any of these bills, would be an immediate return on investment back to this community. These are people that live in this community, and these are going to be the future workforce, the people that are going to build this community. Most people think about just the stadium because it's the big project that everybody sees. But if you drive around this town, there's a lot of other construction work besides just the stadium. You see cranes everywhere. And in order to man these jobs and to put hardworking men and women on these jobs, apprenticeship programs like ours is what's going to be needed. We respectfully request that you consider our General Apprenticeship Association for funding that might help out the future workforce of Jacksonville, Florida. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, well, that takes us back to our agenda action items. One change that I want to do to help out with Councilman Lannon, I'm going to go ahead and move his bill to the front, and we'll take up his item first. So can I get a motion on the 2020, item number 15, 2025-0780? All right, I've got a motion and a second on the bill, and Councilman Lannon, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Chair, for moving me up. I think this one will go faster than the Arias bill. That'll be up next. So real quick, going back to Bill 2023-807, which was the Mayor's Transition Committee recommendation bill, there's $1 million for the Mayor's Task Force Small Business Capital Access Program. Within that, $50,000 was designated for the Veterans Entrepreneurship Grant Program. I worked with Gregory Grant and Ed Randolph's office on this. It finally got launched in September. I know a number of you were there at the Veterans Day thing we had last Wednesday in the atrium, where I briefly spoke about it. A great program. It just took us a while to get it out there. There was a Bill 2025-715 that provided carryover of remaining funding for that $1 million. Councilmember Johnson introduced it. I co-sponsored it. And for my finance friends, if you recall, I did specifically ask when that bill was up if it included the money, the remaining money, which is $48,000, because we've only paid out one today since it did take a while to get it up and running. But the thought was, yes, that bill covered the money in that. Fast forward a few weeks later, we found out, well, no, the bill as written in 715 did not actually cover the unencumbered portion of that bill. So this is taking $48,000 out of the operating reserves, moving it back. If we'd gotten the legislation right to begin with, I'm sure this would have been passed unanimously. But since we have passed 9/30/25, it did fall to reserves. So I'm asking to bring this back up and fund this, and this will allow for 24 additional grants to veteran entrepreneurs out there.
All right, thank you, sir. No other speakers in the queue. I've got a motion and a second. Open up the ballot and record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, by your action, you've passed 2025-0780. All right, we'll go ahead and go back to our agenda. First item we'll go ahead and open up the floor for the presentation. Councilman Ayers, if you want to introduce your presentation.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. So just to kind of go over what we're working on today, it's bill number 2025-0781, which is $15 million towards workforce initiatives and also education components. We have 5 entities here today that I've identified as the benefactors for this $15 million. Since I've had this conversation for multiple months, not only public notice meetings, last week we had 3 alone. We've also had multiple conversations with all the entities, OGC and the auditors. There have been a lot of moving parts as expected with a bill of this size. So I will be presenting, I'll have all the entities present today and then also again tomorrow. I'll just let you know for the record, just from here on out today, I will be deferring this bill one more cycle because I want to make sure that we get all the questions answered from you all, and I'm pretty sure that whatever questions you guys might have, they won't be able to answer them within a day. So they'll probably need a couple weeks to get things squared away, as well as OGC. I know that they're working on a couple technicalities as well too. So I will be deferring this for another cycle. However, today and tomorrow will be the only days we'll have presentations. So I urge you guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to their office in the next couple weeks. With that being said, I will open up the floor today to, so I have, just to kind of go over the quick synopsis of this, it's $15 million, UNF for $6 million, FSCJ for $5 million, EW for $2.675 million, NEFA for $1 million, and Workforce Industrial Training Center for $325,000. So that equals $15 million. One of the things that I'm working on now, which is why I also need some more time, is I'm working with TDC right now to see how we could identify some funding sources through their fund to offset some of the 15, so that way I could open up 15. And realistically, I'm going to look for $3 million from TDC. So really, it's going to be $12 million that we're going to be using here, plus $3 million from TDC, which means we're going to have $3 million that are going to be opened up, and I'm going to just relinquish them, and you guys could figure that part out. I know that Mr. Matt Carlucci had conversations with me at the public notice meeting last week, as well as Mr. Salem. So that's up to you, gentlemen, to talk about that at some point. But I will be opening up $3 million if TDC board members vote up the $3 million request that I will be requesting from TDC. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to first call up, actually through the chair, may I call them up, or do you want to call them up?
You can go ahead if you've already got an order set.
Sure. All right. Through the chair, so I'm going to call up.
They'll be allowed 15 minutes total.
Total, yep. So everybody that comes up, just have 3 minutes on the queue, please, for them. And I'll start off with UNF first. Any representatives from UNF, followed by FSCJ, and then EW, then NEFPA, and then Workforce Industrial Training Center. And there'll be 3 minutes on the clock for each of you all. And what I just asked all the council members is, it's a total of 15 minutes that we have for presentation. So let them present, and then we'll go to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And then when we're done, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask them questions. I just want to make sure we do the 15-minute all in one slot. Thank you.
Before we get started, Mr. Carlucci, you're in the queue. Did you want to speak now? Or? Okay, thank you. All right, the floor is yours, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. Nick Morrow, Athletic Director at the University of North Florida. I do have a handout for this project as well for you, a little one-pager. But Hodges Stadium has become a great asset to this city. We've started hosting track meets about 13 years ago at a higher level, generating over 200,000 room nights and over $160 million during that time span. That's just the track meets that are taking place at Hodges Stadium. Over the past 5 years alone, where we've really become more and more attractive as a destination, we're averaging 17,000 room nights and $15 million per year. But due to the age of the facility, we do need to address some code compliance, some life cycle project issues that we have. So not only can we maintain the current level of impact we're having, but let's continue to grow this. Let's host even more national and international events. As a matter of fact, the NCAA bid cycle for the 2028 through the 2031 NCAA championships for all sports across the NCAA, that starts in February. But without a serious investment into Hodges Stadium, the facility will not be in condition to continue to host. And that one NCAA East prelim that we host, where half the country comes to Jacksonville, generates 12,000 room nights and $10 million alone. Furthermore, this investment will allow us to build 2.5 grass practice fields. That'll help us increase public access to the city or to the campus, but also position UNF to host even more events, including potentially being a World Cup training site for an international team. So our request is actually a match of $6 million for a total $12 million project. This project has a very strong ROI that will attract major national and international events, bringing a significant economic impact into our community while enhancing and improving commodity in Hodges Stadium. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Up next, I do have FSCJ.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is John Wall. I have the honor of serving as Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs at Florida State College at Jacksonville. I'll begin with a word about return on investment. Last year, in addition to a couple of thousand degrees and technical certificates, FSCJ earned 1,312 third-party industry certifications, ranking third among all colleges in the Florida college system, despite being the sixth largest in the system. We punch above our weight because we are deeply committed to workforce development that is driven by economic development data and our responsiveness to the needs of our employers across the region. So today, I'm standing before you on behalf of the college and our president, Dr. John Avendano, seeking your support to expand the kind of high-impact workforce training that we do. The workforce funding in this bill, combined with millions FSCJ has saved to put towards this project, will enable the acquisition of 45,000 square feet of training space at the Cecil Commerce Center. This expansion will allow us to increase both the quantity and quality of students we train in welding, HVAC, advanced manufacturing, and logistics. Phase one of this expansion will focus on welding. Our welding program is currently operating at full capacity with full-time cohorts running throughout the day, all day, every day during the week, and part-time cohorts running year-round in the evening. Our downtown welding site is landlocked and we have no room to grow. The new facility would allow us to double our welding capacity from 20 to 40 stations, meeting the needs of both students and employers. At a cost of under $5,000 in tuition, FSCJ blows away private welding schools that cost over 4 times as much. Welding wages in Jacksonville average $25 per hour, with annual earnings exceeding $50,000. These are life-changing wages for students and a critical talent pipeline for our region's infrastructure and manufacturing sectors. With that phase complete, we look forward to expanding into other areas, and we are going to be seeking funding through other sources, including industry partners and a job growth grant through the state of Florida. But welding is the first priority, and we appreciate your support and your consideration. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Next up, we have EWU, Edward Waters University.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. My name is Dr. Michael West. I serve as Vice President for Operations at Edward Waters University. I'm here in reference to Bill 2025-0781. Our project is a living learning community center. Currently, Edward Waters does serve both the neighborhoods and the local communities through a variety of resources. In 1997 through 2023, a number of resources have been built on the Edward Waters University campus serving the Newtown community. Those range from mental health, a voting precinct, food drives, athletics, health disparities, as well as a JSO substation that includes 14 rooms, 12 of which are occupied by JSO, 2 are occupied by Edward Waters University. We do currently foot the bill for all of the maintenance and operations of that building. We also have the Nathaniel Glover Community Field and Stadium, and we also have the Samuel C. Newby Community Fitness and Wellness Center, which is open not only to the Edward Waters campus, but as well to the Newtown community. I would argue that education and workforce are one and the same. Edward Waters in the last 4 years has launched 15 new academic degree programs, graduate degree programs in cybersecurity, MBA, public administration, as well as educational policy and advocacy. We're also not only looking at classroom training and instruction, we're also partnering with applied-based internships and externships through the Mayo Clinic. We have partnerships with the University of Florida College of Nursing, as well as new partnerships with Florida A&M University's College of Pharmacy. And in January, we're expecting to announce a workforce industrial training partnership with a local organization that can serve within the workforce development area. Our specific project that we are seeking funding for from the community or from the council on this current cycle is a community center that's looking to be about 18,000 square feet. Can be partitioned off. It'll serve community as well as campus needs. It'll feature 4 community meeting and conference rooms, as well as kitchen and warming rooms. And the initial funding that we're looking for is to help with the pre-design, planning, and pre-construction of this facility, along with an Edward Waters University community walking path and track. Edward Waters will be serving as the host institution for the National Division II Track and Field Championships in May of 2028. And so we're looking to add to our campus athletic facilities with the new track. We do expect that all of these projects will, in fact, have direct and indirect financial economic impact of up to $40 million over the next 3 to 5 years. Community impact, again, we are looking at neighborhood revitalization, health equity, senior and youth programming, as well as faith and civic leadership. And like I said before, we are expecting these projects that we're proposing today and seeking funding for will impact the local community to the tune of about $40 million over the next 3 to 5 years. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, NEFBA, Northeast Florida Builders Association.
Good Good morning. My name is Christina Thomas. Thank you guys for hearing from me from the Northeast Florida Builders Association. Just to let you know a little bit about our particular project, NEFPA has operated a registered apprenticeship program since 1973, and we're currently training over 540 apprentices to become carpenters, electricians, HVAC technicians, and plumbers. It's important to note that all of our apprentices are full-time employees with over 205 local employers. Our graduation rate is almost 20% higher than that of the statewide for registered apprenticeship programs. And when we're talking about economic development, because these are workers within our community, they put $23.6 million back annually into our local economy. So you're going to have a direct return on your investment where that's concerned. Our project specifically, we have purchased a permanent 43,000 square foot training facility will be open in spring of 2026. It'll house 11 classrooms, 4 dedicated lab spaces, and we will be able to expand what we've been doing for the last 50 years to, instead of just offering evening time programming, we're also going to have daytime programming to continue to do our outreach that we do in the local area in the skilled trades community. With this, the funds will support our construction and remodeling materials, training equipment, and facilities build out. 100% of these funds will be used to directly impact our apprentices positively, and it'll help us sustain our high quality workforce development standards. Our project summary, our total project cost is $7 million. So far, we are a little over $4 million into that, with NEFPA actually putting a match of above of $1.4 million themselves. We've also received funding from the Dolores Barr Weaver Foundation, the state of Florida, and the industry and community partners. So our commitment is that we are going to support this with our members and philanthropic organizations for the state of Florida. We do not anticipate having to come back to the city of Jacksonville for further funding. This should be a self-sustaining project once we go through with this. And we do have a long history of strong accountability and transparency with our outside auditing team. So the last thing I want to leave you with is just a voice of impact from one of our apprentices, who is actually the superintendent over our project over with Alden White Constructors. He said, NEFPA is a family. They care. I wouldn't be where I am today without the apprenticeship program. As a father of 2 girls, I want to be a role model. One day I look forward to showing my daughters the city that I helped build. Thank you for your time.
Right, thank you. And the last one up will be Workforce Industrial Training Center. Mr. James Coleman, thank you.
Thank you. My name is James Coleman. We have handouts. I'm the president of Workforce Industrial Training. This will be our 3rd attempt to do funding for the Operation Boost program. The company itself, we provide training for barrier-based individuals that face problems with employment, recidivism. For the last 3 years, we've been able to maintain the program and continue to push out quality students to increase the workforce. Currently, we're looking at about an 80% completion rate, 80% placement rate, and now we're looking at 75% retention after 6 months of employment. We have made contacts and made connections with several local entities around Jacksonville as community shareholders. We're currently looking at more than 250 people on our waiting list. Unfortunately, our funding is very low, so we're asking to be considered on this bill to receive funding that we may be able to continue. From our last program, our economic impact ended up being $2.5 million with a ripple effect that looked at $3.7 million. It's our hope that if funding is available and given to workforce to continue the Operation Boost initiative, that we can continue to grow as an entity of this city to provide this training for those individuals that desperately need the help and the assistance.
All right, well, thank you for that. All right, colleagues, I'll engage in any questions you may have for me or for the audience at this point.
Okay, let me first recognize Councilmember Carlucci.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to be added as a co-sponsor, please. That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, Dr. Salem.
Thank you, Chair. I missed Councilmember Arias' last meeting. I attended the first 2 where apparently a discussion occurred about TDC contributing and $3 million potentially, and those dollars being a quote available. I just want to throw an idea out there that it's very important to me as a part of this process. During the budget process, many of you recall I tried to limit the JEA contribution, that $40 million, tried to advocate for only 10 or 20 million of that being used in this budget and trying to spread the rest of that out over the next 2 to 3 years. I was unsuccessful. As we came into the last couple days of the budget, we had $3 million set aside as a contingency for next year's budget, and that all got spent. So we are looking at a $65 million deficit in the 26-27 budget, and I would love to see if there's extra dollars set aside. We've got a couple of major completion grants that we have to pay out, and would love to see some money put towards that as we advocate for dollars available for that. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Harris, or do you want to comment on that?
Sure. Through the chair, Mr. Salem. Yeah, you definitely were not at the last meeting last week, but I do know that Mr. Mike Carlucci was there. And one of the conversations we had during that meeting was the fact that we also, this bill right here, while it's workforce and education component and all the good stuff that it comes with it, I think this needs to be a bill for the community. Now, while the $3 million that if TDC does vote on it, first of all, they have their own board. They have to approve it. If they support the $3 million, coming from TDC, then it does open up $3 million. If they don't approve that, we don't have that $3 million from TDC, and I still have to proceed this way. However, I feel pretty confident that TDC could bring this home. Nevertheless, if the $3 million does get opened up, I know that Mr. Mike Carlucci had some ideas of how to potentially use some of those dollars. I'm not sure to what extent he needs, but I know that, and I know you're here, sir, so you may want to allude to what you're thinking about. I don't know if it's the full $3 million or $1 million or $1, but if you don't mind, just elaborate on that a little bit more through the chair, if that's possible, Mr.
Let me keep working through the queue here, and then I got Mr. Carlucci on the queue, so I'll be coming to him. Next, Ms. Clark Murray.
Thank you, Chair, and once again, good morning to everyone. So I, like some of my other colleagues, I was unable to attend your meetings last week. I wish I had, so maybe the questions that I'm going to ask today will have been answered, and so they will have answers prepared. And I'm not necessarily going to bring anyone to the podium because there's 5 entities represented here. So I'm going to pose the questions, and then I will also state to which entity the question is posed. So I'm going to start, first of all, with EWU. I noticed that the $2.65 million is a part of a larger amount that in 2026, there's supposed to be a a little over $6 million that's going to be given in 26, 27. So I'm wondering what is the total cost of the project, and is there going to be a match? One thing I appreciate about the 2 other entities is that they came with additional dollars. They're not just depending upon city dollars, they came with a match. So for EWU, is there going to be some kind of match? I also read that recently EWU is going to receive $30 million. I'm not sure whether that's in grants, whatever that may be, from some other entity or some other place. So how does that $30 million fit into, or how does this 2.65 from the city and eventually an additional a little over $6 million play into that $30 million that you're going to receive? And then it says that our total amount that we're going to provide, and we being the city, is 37.5% of the total cost. What is the total cost of the project? So that's for those of you who are representing EWU. Okay. So the next thing is, one of my questions, and it's really to Ms. Stefopoulos and maybe Mr. Peterson as well. I don't expect an answer right now, but I'm really trying to figure out, are these grants or are these loans? Because I'm looking at the terms and conditions, and the terms and conditions for each of the entities, there's a mention of a loan, like if near those last paragraphs, and then at the very beginning it says that it's a grant. You don't have to tell me right now. I'm going to go through my list. Okay, and then for Operation Boost, what is the time frame for having those 100 persons trained? And then I'm wondering, for each of the areas where there's going to be construction, when is the performance supposed to start? I did hear that one of the last entities that you already have a building, and I think I read if I recall correctly, in reading the terms and conditions, in some places there's supposed to be acquiring land to build something. So what are those cases? So once again, I'm putting those questions out there. And then if you're not getting the questions written down, this is also videotaped, so you can go back and listen to the video or watch the video. And then, let's see what my last question is. One thing that NIFBA mentioned is that it's going to be self-sustaining. One of my concerns about the EWU funding is that going to be self-sustaining, because in the terms and condition it says that you will continue to need funds from the city. And I think with the amount that's proposed to be given, in addition to the $30 million that's coming to you, that you should be able to sustain the life learning center that you're proposing. Additionally, I don't think we're getting a whole lot in terms of the bargain, the benefit of the bargain. Pretty much what we're getting from EWU and from UNF is access to those facilities. I'm hoping that access will include the Bob Hayes, so that way they don't have to continue to pay for that portion, which is a huge event, not just for the city, and specifically for the African American community. So I hope that that's part of that benefit of the bargain. And I would like to see if the city could get some other benefits of the bargains, because this is a lot of money that we are providing to these entities. And with that, Chair, I'm going to conclude my questions.
All right, thank you. Let's next go to Councilmember Boylan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, my apologies for walking in late. Just so for the record, I am here and did listen to the public comments, all of those. I do have a couple of questions. And first of all, I kind of like to direct this to Councilman Salem. I think he spoke to it briefly. But as the chair of the DOJ committee, and concerns as you talked about eloquently already, about using found dollars in initiatives like these. And I think many of these are worthwhile. I certainly understand it. But I mentioned a few weeks ago my concern with respect of us reallocating appropriated dollars to different parties. And I know DOJ was focusing on that. So help me understand your concern with respect to the allocation or the appropriation of these funds that could have easily gone into the reserve that you are so very much concerned about.
Through the chair, I agree with you, and I hope this year we will do, if there are surpluses at the end of each quarter, there won't be a immediate grab for those dollars and spend them. We're looking at very challenging years ahead of us, and I think those dollars should be put in the reserves. I have a bill that I'm introducing hopefully soon that will that quarterly report that we have, each one of those items need to be balanced versus certain departments being under and over. It'll force the administration to balance each particular department with dollars. And I hope we can stop that practice that has occurred both by the administration and the council as we get those.
You're right. It's on the
It's
part
not
of
just the
us.
council.
No, absolutely. And Councilman Arias, I do appreciate very much through the chair you putting this forward. And I think we just need to balance. Is it important enough for us to do these kind of projects? I met with the folks from UNF and FSCJ, very supportive of theirs. Dr. West, I would very much like to have a meeting with you to get you to understand. You're asking us to lead with our chin on our dollars here, quite frankly. And as Ms. Clark Murray pointed out, I'd love to have a better understanding of where the balance is going to come from. I can certainly appreciate the use and the value of it, don't get me wrong. But as you see, there's amendments and recommendations offered by auditors. I'd love to make sure that you're comfortable with what they're looking to propose as an inclusion, as amendments into this bill. We need to have a better understanding of what EU's confidence in raising these funds to match what the city is attempting to do to support you. So with that, Mr. Chair, I will conclude my comments. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, let's go to Colonel Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair, I expressed some of these thoughts during the third announced meeting that Councilman Arias had, and I just wanted to reiterate a couple of them and make a couple other comments. I don't so much have questions of any of the individual organizations that that are recommended to benefit from these funds, because I don't question that these things are for good purposes, and the comments that have been made by Councilwoman Tyrone Clark Murray are questions I would have asked, so I won't go down that road. But what I will say is we have an opportunity here in a fiscal responsible way of $45 million that was put into a contingency account. $15 million is being considered as part of this bill. We have a $62 million solidly known deficit next year. So in the middle of the budget year, we're saying, let's take $15 million of an overage that was put in a contingency account and let's spend it. And there's another $30 million, from what I understand, that it's been proposed we spend that additional $30 million as well. And again, I'm sure on good things, but to be fiscally responsible, is this the right way to go? And not just because I'm a member of the DOGE committee. I've made these comments before, but I just really think we need to be careful about how we spend taxpayer dollars in the middle of the year that weren't budgeted for, even if we put those dollars in a contingency account. And so my concern here is that, and preference really, is that we don't spend these dollars, that we go ahead and earmark them for that $62 million deficit next year. As was stated, we have completion grants that are coming due next year for the Hyatt, for Gateway, for others that we have to pay for. And they're one-time payments. Actually, one of them has gone over other years in the future. So that would be my preference. However, it's a 19-member council, obviously. If that isn't the preference of the body, as I stated, Councilman Arias, during that last announced meeting, I try my best to be a team player and find a good way forward that everybody can live with. And so if that's the case, if there isn't an appetite for being good stewards, in my opinion, fiscally responsible stewards of taxpayer dollars and looking at next year, not just at this year, if that appetite is not there to do that, and someone wants to move forward with part or all of this $15 million, I suggest we narrow it down to skilled trades, workforce development. That's where there is a time-sensitive concern for not only our city, but also for our state and our nation. Just a quick example, the average age of a welder nationally is 55 years old. The average age of an HVAC technician is 55 years old. Nationally, the average age of an electrician, certified electrician, is 42 years old. Locally, I'm told by good folks at Miller Electric, it's actually 52 years old locally. So in 5 years, we'll be having a very, very serious issue in the skilled trades, not just workforce development, which is important, but in the skilled trade workforce development area. So are we going to get serious about that? These apprenticeship programs are 4 to 5 years, most of them. So we have to get the young men and women in the queue. And so again, fiscally responsible action, in my opinion, would be to hold on to these dollars, this 15 and the other 30 for 45, to pay down that $62 million deficit next year. But if everyone wants to move forward, I recommend we narrow this down. Let's spend time working with Jacksonville Electrical, JATC, and the other folks, pipe fitters, plumbers. Go across the board in skilled trades workforce development and focus, a really targeted focus on having a positive impact on that concern of aging out of our workforce so that our shipbuilders, our builders, our community developers, and others have the workforce they need, and our young men and women can not only get diplomas from high school after they walk across the stage, but they have a career to be able to provide for their family and for themselves. There's where I believe our focus needs to be, in a really targeted, narrow area. So, but I did want to also, this allowed for this conversation because you've done a lot of work, Councilman Arias, on this. This allowed for this conversation. So regardless of where we decide as a committee and as a council going forward on this particular bill, and then in the bigger sense, regardless of how this comes out, we'll have had a really important conversation, actually more than one, on helping us to focus long-term to improve some very important areas that need attention that I don't, quite frankly, think we've really addressed. So I think some people are awakened now on some things. And again, I thank you for the work you've put into this and for leaning forward to be able to address some of these very important issues.
All right. Thank you, Colonel Miller. Before I go to the next, I just want to recognize our former council president in the audience, Mr. Sam Newby. Glad to have you here, sir. All right, so our next in the queue is Councilmember Carlucci.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not really sure where to start here. I want to be a good sport. I want to be thoughtful here. So let me just say, I've heard the deficit brought up now. We should have been talking about that at budget hearings. I'm just saying, we dug our hole a little deeper when we cut the millage back for not much savings. But it dug our hole deeper. I am for this bill. This bill is going to have a positive impact on these universities, on our workforce, on future generations of competition, and future citizens really throughout the country, because it's going to be bringing a lot of people here. It's going to be bringing a lot of people to a lot of money to our community as they come and visit and compete. This is a good bill. And this is $15 million that's been out there for a long time. It was the $45 million that young Councilman Carlucci was going to use for downtown development, which, by the way, nowhere can contribute to our tax base more block per block than a really good, vibrant downtown. And that's where 30 of that $1 million is going to go. So those are future seeds that will develop a tax base that will put money into our community, into our neighborhoods. So I've been to, I think, at least two. I'm not sure how many meetings that Councilman Arias has had, but I've been to at least two. I started out with $9 million for affordable housing, and then it went to $3 million, and then it went to nothing. Now, we can put that $3 million towards next year's $65 million deficit, but $3 million is not going to make a dent in that. But I tell you what, $3 million putting towards affordable housing in the down payment assistance program, which is where I'd like these dollars to go, $3 million, will make a difference to a lot of people, a lot of young people trying to build their world of tomorrow. We should have thought about that 65. I brought up the $65 billion shortfall that we're going to see next year. I brought it up. I talked about it. I wrote publications to the newspaper. I stuck my neck out. It'd been far more fun to say, hey, I'm for the millage cut. But so those are the things we need to think about from budget to budget to budget. That's just me. That's just how I think. It may not be how anybody else thinks, but that's how I think. I've been a council president. I very seldom get called former council president. I don't care. Everybody's got a title up here. I'm just Councilman Carlucci. That's all I care to be called. But I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot of budgets. I've been through a lot of deficits coming up in the future. I've been through so many things that this council is just now going through. And I try to share what I think is institutional knowledge and some wisdom that will help. And I tried to do that in this last year. So we knew we were facing this deficit coming. We knew it. And now, to stop a bill that is going to have such a positive impact on our university systems here in Jacksonville and the people and the scholars and the students and the athletes that it touches, and the possibility of and I appreciate the council finance chair's understanding of how to free up $3 million. He said he would help me. I told him when I lost all the dollars, I was a good sport. I said, look, okay, you have really worked at this, and I gave up the $3 million. I didn't worry about it. I said, I'll try to find it elsewhere. And the finance chair, to his credit, said, I will try to help you find money for affordable housing. And I said, that sounds fair to me. And I said, I'll support your bill even if I don't get the $3 million. If I don't get this $3 million that Councilman, my friend Salem, wants to put towards the $65 million deficit, I'll still support his bill because I think it's good on its own merits. But I just want to say that, and I wanted to address this because when I heard the $3 million that I have been coming to meetings on and had some of those $15 million for affordable housing a long time ago, now suddenly wanting to go towards the deficit for next year, I think I've paid my dues in trying to address that deficit coming up next year. I've paid them. And I've been staking out money for affordable housing for a long time, and I like the bill that Councilman Arias is doing. I think we need to think about all of that next year, and the bill that Councilman Salem wants to do on quarterly, looking at what perhaps overages we might have and applying that towards next year. I think that bill makes sense, and that's something we should look at. But to suddenly take $3 million and put it towards a deficit and to not spend the money that Councilman Arias has been working on for months towards these projects out here, I think it would be so short-sighted. I support his bill 100%, and I hope that you'll support the $3 million for affordable housing. And let's help. That's a big issue in this community. Thank you. That's all I got to say. I hope it makes some sense to somebody.
Thank you. Former Council President Carlucci. Let's go to Councilman Arias. Yes, you're the last. I'll have a few comments, but go ahead.
All right. Thank you, colleagues, for your input. I've definitely been taking notes. I know that the entities over here have been taking notes as well. This is one of the reasons why I decided to defer this, because there's still a lot of talking points. I know a lot of people couldn't make it out last week. Nevertheless, I do want to address one thing, as Mr. Matt Carlucci stated. We're looking at $3 million that are going to be opened up, that are just going to be there to use for however the body decides to use them. When we're looking at the $15 million as a whole, whether TDC invests with us for our community or not, you're looking at a $2.2 billion budget, $15 million. You're looking at 0.0068% of the budget. It doesn't move the needle. But it does move the needle for like Mr. Matt Carlucci said, for the scholars, the athletes, the students, our community leaders, everybody that it will impact. So while it sounds like a big number, it really is not a large number in the grand scheme of things. I do encourage you all to continue having more input and ultimately supporting this bill. I do have more inputs later on, but I just want to make sure that you all have your questions answered. Ms. Tyrone Clark-Mary, I know that you had a lot of questions, and I have wrote them all down. So I'm going to be reaching out to all of them, and I hope that they reach out to you. Regarding Mr. Mike Carlucci's affordable housing component, I do have a question for the auditors, or OGC, more likely the auditors, is how much was it in the budget for the affordable housing component for the down payment assistance program that was not, supported this year's budget?
Through the chair to Councilmember Arias, my recollection is that it was $900,000 and was put towards the local STAC program, not the down payment assistance program. I don't think any dollars were put to the down payment assistance program out of the general fund. There are dollars in the housing
Let me rephrase
budget.
that question. How much was in the budget initially proposed for the down payment assistance program that we did not fund?
Through the chair, I don't remember that number.
It was zero. So you're going to say that, through the chair, the mayor did not put any dollars in for down payment assistance program? Is that what you're saying? That's my question. Like, what's the deficit that we're looking at?
Through the chair, I believe the mayor's budget did include dollars for down payment assistance. I just don't recall the number. $2 million's coming to mind, but I can't stake any claim on that.
I'll get offline with you on that because I want to make sure that that's whatever number that is, that's the number that I know Mr. Mike Carlucci is going to be trying to fight for, and I'll be able to support him as well to try to get those dollars for that. And that's all I have. I know that we are making some last-minute adjustments. Like I said, to everybody out there, we're deferring this bill. However, today at Rules, I will ask that you guys show up again at 2 o'clock, and then tomorrow at Finance as well, too. For the individuals from the Journeyman's program, the Trade Apprenticeship program, and all that, like I said in the last meeting, this is my first time conversating with you guys, and this will not be the last time. I know for a fact that I want to start working towards you guys effective immediately. So whatever happens with legislation 0781 does not mean that you guys are not going to be part of this conversation. It just might have to be a separate part. But I give you my word, as well as I know Mr. Miller, Mr. Freeman, like everybody that was at the public notice meeting last week, Mr. Salem, everybody here. We all want to figure out a way to also include you guys in the conversation. So don't let 0781 bring you down if you guys don't get added to it. We're all working on it, and I'm going to work on you guys as well, too. All right? Thank you all for coming today. And thank you, Mr. Chair, for indulging me in this. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair, so just I did confirm it was $2 million for down payment assistance was included in the mayor's original budget. That got zeroed out. Wanted to make a statement related to the TDC dollars. The proposed $3 million from TDC would come out of their reserves, of which they have $7 million plus in there. That requires council approval regardless. So you could wait to see if the TDC wants to weigh in on the use of dollars, but it's not required because ultimately council oversees those reserve dollars. So just wanted to put that on the record.
All right. Mr. Ayers, you want to comment?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Mr. Peterson, I was under the impression that the TDC board had to first vote on it, approve it, and then it comes to council. Are you saying that we could just take care of it ourselves?
Through the chair, that's correct.
All right, well, then it's done. I mean, there's no conversation there. So what do we have to do then to make sure we get those dollars?
Through the chair to Councilmember Arias and the committee. So the use of TDC dollars has to be tourist related. So as long as the finding is that the investment in the UNF facility, the reason that you're doing is for the promotion of tourism, that's the box that has to be checked. It would just be through an amendment to the bill at some later date to bring those dollars into this bill.
Okay, and just to clarify this, I will be putting that amendment in myself then. Those dollars are going towards UNF's sports complex, but not the infrastructure improvement, but more the tourism component of it. That way we split all that up and it's clearly, line item. Thank you.
All right. The queue is filling up again, so let's go to Dr. Salem for the second.
I hear the point about, thank you, Chair, about TDC. I served on TDC for a couple of years. That $7 million reserve is there for a mega event that may come to Jacksonville that we could move dollars towards and bring that event to Jacksonville. So even though we can move those dollars, I definitely want to hear from TDC personally on what dollars would be sufficient for them to keep in that reserve for an event such as that, to make sure we're not strapping them by moving $3 million. Thank you, Chair.
All right. Thank you. Colonel Miller.
I'll be quick. Thank you, Chair. Through the chair, I just wanted to, I heard a couple comments about moving the needle and $3 million only moving the needle a little bit. And I know this is swinging back the other direction from my original comment of what I said I'd prefer we do to be responsible fiscally. But if we apply $45 million to that $62 million deficit, I don't know, the auditors can maybe check me out because my math's not always good, but that's about 72.5% of next year's deficit. To me, that's moving the needle. So just wanted to make that comment. I get the partial part about the $3 million, but if that $45 million in that contingency account goes against next year's deficit, that's reducing it by 72.
All right, thank you all. I'll give a few comments here and we'll close out the question and comments on the presentation, and we'll get to our agenda. So a couple of comments. As the contribution to the North Florida builders, I've had discussion with them in the past and about the online availability training, and it's always presented back to me as once we get funding. Well, I'm seeing potential funding, but I'm not hearing that they're going to move toward online training. At this day and age in the construction industry, our companies in town travel. And so when you're having to send apprentices out of town and try to get them back 2 nights a week is impossible. And so we need to, I'd like to see something that's going to really benefit the workforce, because when we talk about affordable housing, we make that a high priority. Well, you're never going to get affordable housing and unless we protect and make sure our supply chains for affordable 2x4s and affordable concrete, but also having the abundance and the ability to man projects. So one major aspect of affordable housing is the workforce being able to sustain and meet the need of the construction industry. So yes, I'm a big supporter of that. I graduated from Northeast Florida Builders, and I won't say when, and through the electrical apprenticeship. I contribute to CELCAT, which is the overhead power line apprenticeship through the union. And so I see both sides, and I want to see how we can bring in all of our apprenticeships, all of our training, and not just be focused on certain groups. I think that would be fair. But I see this kind of this bill where it gets kind of a quagmire is we've got CIP projects being included with our training and all, so that kind of makes it a little difficult, because I just from what I've seen and know about, like UNF, right now I'm a hard no on UNF. This with what's out there and the is taking place right now, I don't see me supporting that, and we can have future discussions about that as well. But with that, we'll go ahead and conclude the presentation, and I'll look forward to trying to be at the next public meetings that we have on that. So that'll finalize up our presentation. Appreciate everyone being here, and we'll go ahead and move to our agenda. Let's run through it real quick to get a feel on what we'll be doing. Item number 1, 2024-0966 will be deferred at the request of Council President Carrico. Item number 2, 2025-0361 will be deferred at the request of Councilmember White. Item 3 will be 2025-0600. We'll amend and move. Item number 4, 2025-0727. We'll take action on. Item 5, 2025-0765. We'll amend and re-refer. Item 6, 2025-0766. We'll amend and take action. Item 7, 2025-0767. We'll take action. Item 8, 2025-0768 will amend to take action. 2025, item number 9, 2025-0769 will amend to take action. Item 10, 2025-0772 will amend to take action, and we'll be taking that one second on the agenda. Item number 11, 2025-0774 will take action. Item 12, 2025-0776 will amend and take action. Item 13, 2025-0777 will amend and take action. Item 14, 2025-0778 will amend and take action. Item 15, we've already taken action. Item 16, 2025-0781 will be amending and then deferring.
To the chair, I would recommend that since the introducer is requesting a deferral, you would not take up the amendment, because the amendment may change depending on the further discussions that occur between now and then, or the recommendations may change. So I would just recommend you defer it today.
All right, you got it, Ms. Mary. We will defer. All right, item 16, 2025-0782 will open and continue, and then there'll be a deferral on that. And then item 18, 2025-0783 will amend and take action. Item 19, 2025-0794 will amend. That'll be changing to a substitute, and we'll take action. Item 2025-0795 will amend and take action. Item 21, 2025-0797, we will be withdrawing. And the rest are on seconds, except for 2024 or 2025-0812 will be it's an emergency, and we'll amend and take action. And then we'll go through our seconds then. All right, so let's go back to item number 16. Go ahead, Dr. Salem.
Thank you, Chair. Through the chair to Mary, if an item is withdrawn, can that be introduced by another councilman at a future date?
Through the chair to Councilmember Salem, yes.
Thank you.
All right, so that takes us to, let's go to item number 16, 2025-0781. Can I get a motion to defer? Or I just say I'm deferring? Okay, no motions, that one is deferred. Let's go to item number 10, 2025-0772. Can you get a motion on the amendment? I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson.
Apologize, Mr. Chair. The amendment on 2025-772 is to correct a spelling and then also revise the change to section 154-108B, just to reference Part A of Chapter 250 as it relates to downtown sidewalks. Sidewalk cafes, I apologize.
All right. I've got Councilman Arias on the amendment or the bill? Okay. Miss Mary?
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to make you aware there may be a request for an additional amendment. Mr. Reingold would be able to address that to see if a council member would be, or if maybe Mr. Arias is prepared to offer it. So once you vote on this amendment before you take a motion on the bill, you just may want to allow for that request to come through for discussion before you move on.
All right, thank you. All right, I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. Okay, I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. All in favor say yay. Yay. Any opposed likewise? Okay, by your action, you've approved the amendment. Now, Councilman Arias, do you want to?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to kind of elaborate a little bit more on this. I know that DIA, Mr. DeVault, is here to speak on this as well, too. But just in a nutshell, This is the expansion of the perimeter of the district, the boundaries that we had. This legislation was actually filed back in 2011, so more than a decade ago, and it hasn't been updated since. Obviously, we're doing heavy investments in downtown, not only with growth and dollars and restaurants and bars, but what we're also doing is expanding that perimeter. That way, restaurants, bars, and cafe could start serving food on the sidewalks and alcohol too. So DI is here to kind of elaborate more on this if you guys have any further questions on this part. Thank you.
Do you, Councilman Harris, do you want to call up Mr. Reingold on the amendment?
Sure, if you don't mind. Mr. Reingold, if you don't mind coming up here to talk about the amendment.
Yep. Thank you very much. Dylan Reingold, the Office of General Counsel. Yeah, as I was preparing for this meeting today, I realized that although we reference Part 8 of Chapter 250, it might not be a bad idea to also reference Part 9 of Chapter 250, which contains sidewalk cafes, and such that the adjacency issue addressed in the bill is consistent between the downtown area and the other areas of the city that do permit sidewalk cafes, just so that there's consistency in Chapter 250 and throughout the code. Other than that, I'd be happy to answer any other questions.
All right. We have okay, I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. All right, I got some speakers in the queue. Ms. Murray, is that on the amendment? Okay. Dr. Salem.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to clarify through the chair to Mr. Reingold, are you suggesting with what you just said that if a business has an outside seating in other parts of the city, they can also serve alcohol out there as well? Is that what I heard you to say?
Yeah, this bill is designed to clarify that issue, and it's just to make sure that that clarification goes to the other parts of the city that do allow for outside seating.
So the answer is yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Councilman Amaro.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question on logic and culpability. As we open this avenue to allow businesses to be able to provide services to their customers on the sidewalk, do we also expose ourselves to liability should someone in today's crazy environment just decide to drive on the sidewalk and run these folks over? Or do we require the businesses to also take safety precautions to ensure that the public who's now using the sidewalks to enjoy their beer and hot dogs or whatever also implement some sort of safety protocols? And I don't know if that's in our wheelhouse, but I'm sitting here thinking that we open this avenue, that we also expose the city should something go wrong in today's environment.
Go ahead.
Through the chair to Councilmember Morrow. I'm glad you brought that up. It was actually one of the points that I wanted to mention about this bill is that any sidewalk cafe or downtown sidewalk cafe or downtown sidewalk bar serving, they still have to meet all of the physical requirements that we already have in our code that are designed to help both help pedestrians and protect pedestrians and the people who are utilizing the cafe space.
All right, Councilman Boylan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair to Mr. Reingold, this giving the opportunity to do this doesn't preclude the requirement of going through LUZ to get the correct permitting in order to host a sidewalk services in areas outside of downtown as well. Correct?
Through the chair to Councilmember Boylan, to the extent they need an exception, they need any form of administrative deviation. They would obviously still have to go through the Land Use and Zoning Committee and ultimately.
I think it's helpful for Councilman O'Meara's concern that that can be addressed as part of that process. So it doesn't preclude it.
To the extent, through the chair to Councilmember Boylan, to the extent they need LUZ approval, then yes, certainly could be a component of a condition.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. So, any other discussions on the amendment? All right, all in favor say yay. Yay. Any opposed likewise? All right, by your action, you approve this amendment. Ms. Mary, can we roll them up? Okay, so I've got a motion and a second on the bill as amended, and we'll go ahead and open up the queue. Ms. Clark Murray.
Thank you, Chair. Through the chair to the downtown representatives, I just have a couple of questions. So I'm trying to visualize what this looks like. So, for example, I'm a business owner. I already have a business downtown. I already have a restaurant. I have all the permits that allow me to have indoor dining. I can serve alcoholic beverages. And so now with this, I'm able to expand my area for service to the sidewalk that's adjacent to my building. Tell me exactly what this looks like.
Thank you. Alan Duvall, DI, Downtown Investment Authority. Through the chair to Councilwoman Clark Murray. Yes, in essence, it does allow for expansion of the areas. In some cases, it makes sense for it to be immediately adjacent to a facade. Sometimes it makes more sense to have a pedestrian pathway and then the seating on the other side of the pathway. So it allows for that. It also expands the areas to the sidewalk enhancement areas, which were added when the Forsyth and Adams Street were changed to two ways. So those are like parklets, if you will. So it expands that area as well as allowing that throughout all of downtown instead of just specific areas.
Okay, thank you for that. And one last question. So as one of the hypothetical, as one of those owners, do I need additional permitting, or will my existing permitting allow me to do that?
Through the chair to Councilwoman Clark Murray. Great question. It does require a sidewalk cafe permit, which you need right now. So it is all in conjunction with the sidewalk cafe permit in the downtown area.
All right, thank you for that. Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you. Dr. Salem? Okay, all right. Councilman Boylan?
Very quick, Mr. Chair. First of all, thank you, Councilman Arias, for putting this bill forward. I appreciate it. And Alan, thank you for the time and the detail you provided in your handout. So thank you.
All right. No other speakers in the queue. Ms. Sickler, could you come down? I want to ask you a few questions. I guess this being opened up, that can be done, if I'm correct, Councilman Arias, across the city in anywhere. What, Ms. Sickler, what does this do for our sidewalk capacity requirements that we are regulated to have enacted for all our commercial businesses?
Good morning, Nina Sickler, Public Works. So we'll of course need to maintain ADA access, and that's a requirement that you leave at least 4 feet available on any sidewalk. And then we allow, or ADA allows, a 3-foot pinch point in over a certain stretch. So we would certainly be making sure that that's maintained.
Oh, okay. And I guess this bill takes into consideration all the codes and, okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Sickler. All right. With that, Councilman Arias, you got the.
All right. Thank you, sir. Through the chair and to the chair. Yep. As Mr. Morrow stated, and as you just brought up, the code will not be changed. Everybody still has to adhere to that. And Mr. Amaro, if there's any sidewalk cafes that want to sell liquor and they don't have a liquor license, they still have to go through AUZ to get a liquor license, 2 COP or 4 COP, whatever the case is. So everything is still pretty much straightforward. The biggest thing is that DI has been doing this for many years, but in a specific part of downtown. What we're doing now is we're just expanding it. So it's been ongoing for many years. It's not a new thing. It's just now we're expanding it to a larger part of the city now. That's all it is. But the code will not be changed. Everything still is going to be as legal as possible with the licensing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. With that, I've got a motion and a second on the bill to be approved as amended. Open the ballot and record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
All right. By your action, you have approved 2025-0772. Thank you, Councilman Arias, for being here.
All right. Can I speak on, if I only have one more piece of legislation up, Mr. Chair, which is number 2025-0797, which I'm withdrawing, and I just wanted to kind of give my input as to why I'm withdrawing it. I know Mr. Salem just brought up a question on that. So if you don't mind, can you indulge me in this? for about 2 minutes?
Sure. You want to go ahead and
Thank you, sir. All right.
let me go ahead and
Go ahead. Yep. Open it up.
Open it up, and then we'll. So, item number 21, 2025-0797. I need a motion. I got a motion and a second to withdraw. Councilman Arias, you recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. All right. I've had extensive conversations not only with Mr. Dennis, who oversees boards and commissions, but also with the mayor. I had a one-on-one meeting with her maybe last week on Monday, and I talked about the reason why I wanted to propose this legislation. Long story short, there's a lot of vacancies in the city. There's a lot of good people that want to be put on boards and commissions. I met with Mr. Dennis. He's going to work with myself and obviously the president as well to fill those vacancies. This legislation was, and I brought this up many times when we created boards. I know Mr. Salem is on a CBA committee with myself and Mr. Peluso. We're talking about the East Side board right now. And initially the mold of that board was going to be majority city council approved appointments and then a few mayor appointments. And I said, no, let's make it down the middle, fair. Mayor gets the same amount as we do at city council. And then there was also one more board, which I think is the special taxing district that Mr. Peluso was creating. Nevertheless, I want this to be fair across the board, which is why I brought this legislation up. There were some boards and commissions that were all strictly only mayoral appointments, and I kind of found some issues with that because we as city council, especially those boards that we literally go through their budget and approve their budget, we don't have an input into their appointments, and that kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. And I've been talking about this for about a year and a half now, but it wasn't until this year where I decided to take action on that. Well, long story short, again, I met with Mr. Dennis and the mayor, and instead of changing this whole language and having legislation, I know that they're making a commitment, and Mr. Dennis is here, so he could definitely allude to this, but they're going to make a commitment to work with us to be able to, for us to send them some names for these boards that are missing people, because some boards they have a lot of vacancies, or some boards are going to have a lot of turnover in the next month or two. So I know that I'll be sending over some resumes to Mr. Dennis and Ms. Deegan, our mayor, to be able to fill those appointments. And that's the reason why I'm withdrawing it, because if they're going to work with us on good faith, I'm going to withdraw my legislation because I have faith in that we could work this together without having to change anything. So I'm trusting you all to work with us. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Dennis, do you want to add anything?
Through the chair to Councilman Arias, really appreciate the dialogue that we've had in the past few weeks, and you have the administration, the mayor's commitment to work with you all. Just like I mentioned in the past, several council members have advanced names. Matter of fact, you all just confirmed, and I'm looking at Councilman White with Josh Garrison to the Planning Commission. So we're definitely open, and please send us names and things like that. And you're absolutely right. Across the board, there are vacancies that are coming up on the council side as well as on the mayoral side. So again, thank you, and you do have our commitment to vet and potentially advance some of those suggestions.
All right, thank you, Dr. Salem.
Thank you, Chair. I think it's a great bill. And I feel that most of these boards and commissions ought to be split with the council and the mayor. And I'm going to take a look at reintroducing this legislation because I think as we move forward, and you're right, we had a great discussion at CBA, and you advocated that we make sure we're fair to the mayor. And I agree with that. I agree with that. I think the council should be treated fair on major boards like this where we have an opportunity. So I'll be looking at reintroducing this. I would love to have some dialogue, but I don't see the need to withdraw it personally, and I'll take a look at it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Chief White.
Thank you. Through the chair, I just want us to say thank you to Mr. Dennis, and thank you, Mr. Arias. What you had put forward made sense. But they have worked with me, and I'm sure they'll work with others, and I would just want to put that on the record. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Dennis.
Through the chair to Councilman Salem, appointing and nominating or advancing names is a function of the administration. And so, it is your prerogative to introduce a bill or reintroduce this bill or introduce a bill to to try to strip some of that authority. But I want to put on the record that the administration will defend their authority to appoint, and the council has the authority to actually confirm the appointment. So look forward to the dialogue. Just want to let you know our position, that we will defend our authority to nominate. Likewise, I would encourage you, before introducing the bill, you may want to probably ask for legal opinion, because we may be opening up a can of worms and things like that. So again, it's your prerogative to do so, but the administration will defend its authority to nominate. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilman Arias.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I hope I'm the last one because I know I can see where this is heading. But through the chair to Mr. Salem, I hear you on that. Trust me, I was on the same page as you. But as digging in and getting the legal opinion from OGC and just... All right, there you are. I hear you, and trust me, I was on the same page, but I think that before there's any kind of consideration to introduce this kind of legislation again, let's have a public notice meeting. I've done a lot of work on this. I have a lot of answers for you. And all I ask is that anybody here in this body who will consider reintroducing this again, let's just give the administration a fair shot at living up to the word. They gave me their word. So all I ask is just hold off. Let's see what they can do, because I'm telling you, I've had a lot of conversations with them, and I want to go on good faith on this. So let's just hold off anything for now, please. Thank you.
All right, I've got a motion and a second on 2025-0797 to withdraw. Open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
All right, by your action, you have approved to withdraw 2025-0797. Takes us back to the beginning of our top of our agenda. Item number 1, 2024-0996 is deferred. Item number 2, 2025-0361 is deferred. Item number 3, 2025-0600. Can I get... I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. No speakers in the queue. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair of the committee, the amendment just would also revise another section of our ordinance code, 634.107, that references the driver education safety program to reflect the increase in the fee from $3 to $5, and then also include a directive for legislative services to provide this legislation to the clerk of the court once enacted, because they are the ones who would be actually implementing that fee.
All right. No other speakers on the queue. All in favor of the amendment, say yay. 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 Any opposed likewise? None? Okay, that amendment passes. Now we've got the auditor's recommended amendment. If I could get a motion on that. Second. I've got a motion and a second on the auditor's recommended amendment. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair to the committee, this was a little bit more than technical. Section 111.390 outlines how the Driver Education Safety Trust Fund will work, and it has some outdated language. The Grants and Contract Compliance Division oversees this now. The code references the Parks and Recreation Division, and then updating some of the processes on how the dollars are distributed. It's a application by any private school or the Duval County Public Schools, and so just updating that language to reflect how the process actually works, and then also including an effective date of January 1, 2026. That was a date suggested by the clerk of the court. That would give them time to update their systems to put this fee, this increased fee into place.
All right, no, Ms. Murray.
Just a quick question to Mr. Peterson through the chair. Is this happening all across the state, or is it just us, Duval County?
Through the chair, I'm going to defer to Mr. Reingold. I'm not familiar with what the other counties are doing.
Mr. Reingold.
Thank you very much. Dylan Wright with the Office of General Counsel. I can tell you since the statute was changed back in 2005, 2006 time period, various counties have had various different rates of updating their fee from $3 to $5.
And through the chair to Mr. Reingold, so this is how recently did we make a change or an increase? This is the most recent change since when?
So the original Doris Lossberg Fund under Florida statutes was established at $3 and then was bumped up to $5 in 2005, 2006. The city of Jacksonville started it at $3 consistent with the state statute. It's just taken a while to kind of pick up on the change in the state statute. So this is our increase to match the 5.
20 years ago. Okay, all right. Thank
Correct.
you. All right, thank you, Chair.
All right, no other speakers in the queue, so I've got a motion and a second on the auditor's recommended amendment. All in favor, say yay. Yay. Any opposed likewise? None. So that carries. Miss Mary, can we roll these up? All right, we'll roll these up as one amendment. So I can get a motion and a second on the bill to approve as amended. I've got a motion and a second. Open the ballot, record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, next.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item, 2025, item number 4, 2025-0727. I've got a motion and a second to move the bill. Before we get into this, I will be abstaining from voting on this out of an abundance of caution. It's being filed with Legislative Services. This this gets into the Harbor Waterways and the JEA agreement for raising the power lines, and not knowing exactly how all this is going to come into play, I will just be abstaining, and I'll be passing the gavel to Vice Chair White and letting him conduct.
Thank you. Mr. Miller, you're on the queue.
Thank you. Through the Vice Chair, Mr. Pipes, you're just questions only, no comments? I just wanted to make sure any input, we heard it.
And I'm Stanley Pipes. I'm the district manager for Harbor Waterway Special District. This is brought about because of JEA's tower raising project. They essentially took control of the 82-acre Reed Island Park where this was going to be developed. They got very excited that we were moving roads around, and they need those roads for this construction project. So we were happy to allow them to finish, but we do need an extension on this time frame to complete the development that we had already started and we actually let some contracts on. So I don't know if that answers everybody's questions.
So through the Vice Chair, Mr. Pipes, so you're okay with this bill as it's worded?
Yes.
Okay.
It's fine. It gives us plenty of time. The JEA has easements for us that for 3 years is the maximum time frame. This would extend our deadline to about 8 or 9 months past that time frame.
Thank you. And through the Vice Chair, is there anyone here from JEA? Any comments? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Morrow.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I understand it's the extension of time, but out of curiosity, is there a dollar associated with any associated to this transaction in extending the time? And if there is, to whom would be responsible for those dollars?
So Harbor Waterway is 100% funding this. In fact, back when we took over the property for the Reed Island Park, Parks and Recreation had already got approved $850,000 for these improvements. We agreed to spend that on our behalf. And what this all came about because Parks and Recreation was building a dock out into the river, 125 feet out from the river, which we thought was a bad idea. So what our proposal was to dig an inlet in and put ADA compliant docks there. They had 5 boats were going to be available out of the river. we've upped it to about 35 boats that'll be docks in a protected inlet. So no cost to the city, we fund all of it.
Thank you. No one else on the queue. Open the ballot and record the vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays, 1 abstention.
By your action, you've approved 2025-727, and I'll turn the gavel back over. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Vice Chair White, for that. Item number 5, 2025-0765. Can I get a motion on the amendment?
Second.
All right, I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair to the committee. So this bill moves up the first consolidated government election up 2 weeks. There's language in Section 350-102B that says that the second or the general consolidated election will be 8 weeks after the first election. The full intent is for this there to be 10 weeks between the first and the second election. So the amendment would just clarify that the second or the general consolidated would happen the 10th Tuesday after the first consolidated government election.
All right, no speakers in the queue. All in favor of the amendments, say yay. Yay. Any opposed likewise? None. So with that, the amendment carries. Can I get a motion and a second on the bill to be approved as amended and re-referred?
So the motion, Mr. Chair, that you would ask for is to move to re-refer as amended.
Okay. So I've got a motion and a second to re-refer the bill as amended. Open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
All right, by your action, you have approved 2025-0765. Next, item number 6, 2025-0766. Can I get a motion on amendment? I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. No speakers in the queue. All in favor, or Mr. Peterson?
Through the chair to the committee, the amendment attached to revised Exhibit 2, which is the revised Schedule B1A that outlines the grants the city expects to receive along with the positions and part-time hours allocated to that. We need to correct the schedule, and then there are various scriveners that need to be fixed as well.
All right, no speakers. All in favor say yay. Yay. Any opposed likewise? None. Your amendment carries. I get a motion and a second on the bill as amended. I've got a motion and a second on the bill as amended. Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair to Ms. Parola, just wanted to ask what the change is as far as funding goes here. What is the difference in funding, and where is that funding coming from? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Helena Parola, Director of Planning Department, through the chair to Councilmember Miller. This bill adds the part-time hours, which is, I think, 1,040 hours. The funding itself is already in place through the grant that was approved in 2023 from for the Climate Pollution Reduction Grant. So there is no funding changes. The funding is already there to support those additional hours.
All right, thank you. So I've got a motion and a second on the bill to approve as amended. Open the ballot and record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-066. Item number 7, 2025-0767. I've got a motion and a second on the bill. Mr. Boland.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do obviously support this bill. Is Ann here, perchance, to come on up and very quickly just talk a little bit about the adaptation plan? Is it something that comes before the council for our approval at some point in time, and when can we expect to see that plan?
Yeah, good morning. I'm Dr. Jenny Hinton. I'm the Deputy Chief Resilience Officer here on behalf of Ann this morning. The adaptation plan is something that will be developed by a consultant with funding by the Department of Environmental Protection. This funding was left over because the city didn't use all of the funding that was originally allocated for the vulnerability assessment. And it's necessary for us to move forward with Resilient Florida grant funding. To answer your question, there is no plan for the plan itself to go back through council. It's going to go through Public Works and the Office of Resilience.
Through the chair, if I might, I certainly would suggest and recommend either Public Works or your department to bring a presentation to us at some point in time. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, Dr. Salem.
Thank you. Through the chair, how many people are in the resiliency area beyond you and Ann?
There are two others,
Two
Kim
others.
Garbade and Allison Boss.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I've got a motion and a second on the bill. Open the ballot, record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-0767. Item number 8, 2025-0768. Can I get a motion on amendment? I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair, the amendment just attaches a revised Exhibit 2, which is the CIP, to correct a prior year appropriation amount.
All right, no speakers in the queue. All in favor of the amendment, say yea. Yea. Any opposed likewise? None. Amendment carries. Got a motion and a second on the bill, approved as amended. I've got a motion and a second. No speakers in the queue. Open the ballot, record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-0768. Item number 9, 2025-0769. Can I get a motion on amendment? I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair of the committee, this same amendment attaching a revised CIP to correct a prior year appropriation amount.
Thank you. All in favor of the amendment, say yea. Yea. Any opposed likewise? None. Amendment carries. Can I get a motion and a second on the bill to approve the bill as amended? I've got a motion and a second to approve the bill as amended. No speakers in the queue. Open a ballot, record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, by your action, you approved 2025-0769. Item number 10, we've already taken action. Item number 11, 2025-0774. I've got a motion and a second on the bill. No speakers in the queue. Open the ballot, record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you approved 2025-0774. Item number 12, 2025-0776. Got a motion on the amendment? I got a motion and a second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair of the committee, the amendment would include a waiver of the public investment policy to authorize this REV grant, as this project is not a targeted industry category, or is it located in an economically distressed area or a CRA, and then also placing a revised economic development agreement on file to strike references to a job creation schedule that is not part of the agreement, update various code references, and then correct scriveners within the agreement.
All right, no speakers in the queue. All in favor of the amendment, say yea. Yea. Any opposed likewise? Mr. Morrow, are you on the bill or the amendment? Go ahead, sir.
Through the chair to Philip, these kind of waivers are pretty normal.
Through the chair to Councilmember Morrow, I wouldn't say that waivers are normal, but this is definitely not precedent setting. We occasionally see waivers of the public investment policy when one of the entities, OED or DIA, want to fund an incentive that's not an incentive contemplated in the PIP. That's probably our most common waiver. A waiver for an entity that's not in a targeted industry or in an economically distressed area or a CRA that specific waiver is out of the normal. But waivers themselves are too unnormal.
Through the chair, and that is what caught my attention, the fact that a target industry or economically depressed area. All right, thank you.
Ms. Murray.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Randolph. While you're coming, you can contemplate the question. Why this particular type of grant for this project, seeing that it doesn't fit the characteristics or the requirements of this particular grant?
Sure. Good afternoon. Ed Randolph, OED. Thank you for letting me speak on this bill. Yes, this is definitely a unique project as it relates to our public investment policy. I'm sure everyone's heard about this surf park that's looking at E-Town. So they approached the city a few months ago after discovering that even though they chose one of the highest spots geographically in Duval County, I believe they're about 8 foot above sea level at their site, recent geotech testing has led them to believe that the foundation of the surf park, which will be the first in the state of Florida, is going to need to be much deeper, more robust, and much more expensive, probably $10 to $20 million more expensive than originally thought. In that, they're dealing with the hydrostatic pressure, just like putting a swimming pool in Florida. This will be the first surf park in Florida. They really are, no pun intended, but treading new ground here. So basically, they're looking at possibly contemplating not doing the project. So we thought that, this is a project we believe will add much more value to the site and the surrounding area. So we're putting forth this REV grant. And we believe that it'll attract, similar to what Virginia Beach just constructed, a similar surf pool and park, of which is expected to bring in over $300 million of additional development surrounding the park. The city of Virginia Beach has put in over $100 million of investment. So we envision this, becoming a tourist attraction for international and national and regional folks here. Also, surfing, it just became an Olympic sport in 2020. It's one of the fastest growing recreational sports in general. And this facility could possibly allow us to host regional surf competitions, so similar to what you see in Indianapolis or Orlando, some other cities as it relates to baseball, soccer, basketball, other youth sports. We do envision this as kind of being a project and a catalyst project that will help us attract heads and beds, and again, more sales tax and other development around there, whereas if this site just were to be developed today, you might just see a mix of just general retail, maybe an apartment complex. We truly think this will be a game changer. And the ROI on this one is 1.36 to 1. Again, it's outside the box, not in our public investment policy, but we truly think that it is an investment through the chair to Councilwoman Clark Murray worth pursuing. With that, I'm happy to take any other questions.
That was my primary question. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you. Dr. Salem?
Thank you. Through the chair to Mr. How far is this from I-95 or 295?
Through the chair, it's very close to it. It's not far from I-295. It's the surrounding area, it'll come close to 295, 9B, that area.
Will it be able, through the chair, will it be able to be seen from 295?
Through the chair to Councilman, yeah, they're definitely going to be signage. This will be a grandiose. There'll be there'll be signage and other things where it will be. I'm sure there'll be some visibility there.
What is presently around this site?
It's pretty vacant, and I do have a representative from the team. Brad, specifically, it's a vacant area. There's vacant lots around it, but I don't know if Brad Davis wants to maybe speak to specifically other broader elements.
Good morning. Thank you for your time. Yeah, so this is the southwest quadrant of E-Town Parkway and 9B. So it's kind of 9B and 295 kind of come up into a triangle.
Right.
And it's that southwest quadrant of that interchange. So there could be some views, but the primary view shed would be from 9B.
I mean, are you planning, as a sports facility, I know what baseball parks are doing and such, right, the Battery, that kind of thing. Are you looking for bars, restaurants around this thing, or residential, or how do you perceive the future here?
Yeah, well, thank you for the question. So there will be a full master plan. So the park that we're describing today is 15 acres of a 45-acre parent tract. Within the 15 acres, there will be the lagoon. We call it lagoon. Our engineers get mad if we call it a pool. So it's a surf lagoon. And we will host contests. There will be an on-premise F&B. There will be on-premise retail. There could be some sort of physio as well on site, as well as just other stuff for the surrounding community. There will be public view sheds of it. There'll be areas just outside of, kind of call it the paywall, where the public could come and view. But our ultimate goal is to improve quality of life in North Florida. We are from North Florida. I was born and raised in Jacksonville, went to Mandarin High School. My parents are from here as well, so we really care about the community. Ed did a great job. The only thing that he didn't mention was women's sport. This is really, really helpful as it relates to women's sport. And we see that with the recent women's champion, Molly Picklum in Australia, She's an investor in this as well, and we want to make sure that the girls of our community are getting the reps that they need. If you think about a skateboard park, this is not a skateboard park, obviously, but you can have the reps over and over and over. And in the ocean, you don't have that luxury. So this is going to give athletes and just recreational surfers as well the opportunity to have those same reps over and over again to improve public health and wellness.
Thank you. I appreciate that explanation. It sounds like a terrific project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again.
Thank you. All right, Councilman Amaro, we're still on the amendment.
Sir, Ed did a good job, but I'm just laughing at Mr. Davis said you dropped short somewhere else. I'm going to support it. This concept of these man-made lagoons from Dubai to here have become very, very successful and very profitable, and have been transformational, have made communities different. If this is developed the way I just heard, I think it's going to be phenomenal. And for that part of Duval, St. Johns County, it's going to be clearly transformational work. So I'm going to support it.
All right. So we're on the amendment. So I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. All in favor say yay. Yay. Any opposed likewise? None. So the amendment carries. I get a motion on the bill 2025-0776 as amended. I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. On the bill as amended. And we'll get there. All right. Colonel Miller.
Thank you, Chair. Through the chair, real quick, I'll also be supporting this. I think it's a great project. The Supergirl Surf Pro events and other related events are amazing, and we want to make sure that we're giving everyone the opportunities to be able to compete at the top level. And obviously, we're not Hawaii, we're not California. We don't have the kind of surfs that are dependable, and drawing young men and women into this sport and giving them that opportunity to get exposure, to be able to see if that's their thing or not. This is one of the projects that will open up that door to our young men and women throughout Jacksonville and Northeast Florida to be able to try it out and see, is this their thing? And then to expand the greater community by participating in these competitions and having these opportunities to train. So definitely we'll be supporting this. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Murray.
Thank you. Just a quick question. I don't see it in the bill. Which council district is this in?
Through the chair, Councilwoman Clark Murray, it's in Councilman Arias' district.
All right. Thank you for that. Thank you.
All right. No other speakers in the queue. One final question I got. Would doing these REV grants, I would really like to see, and if we want to do a motion or amendment on this, is our procurement on, we require 40% local business participation. And being that we're making an investment in this, is there a willingness for this development to participate with our goals of that?
To the chair, Ed Randolph, OED. Yes, so in the Economic Development Agreement, there is a reference to JSEB to go ahead and we go ahead and ask them to go ahead and participate, at least have JSEB an element of their overall development project. Right. Now, some of this is so specialty that might not see as much in the way of participation, but no doubt all of our economic development agreements do include a JSEB element.
Well, the JSEP is 20%, but we've got in our procurement, we got the 40% of local business participation.
Through the chair to the chair, sometimes they, it becomes difficult on some projects. We're happy to look at a higher number than 20% for JSEB, but 40%, we're happy to explore that for sure moving forward. But sometimes with specific projects, it's hard for them to meet that criteria in that if some of these projects have a specialty.
I understand that. I mean, that when we were going through procurement and doing the reconstruction of the procurement, that was a big discussion always about hard to find, but you never know unless you try. And so that's where I foresee that we need to start looking at these goals to be able to, we got city fund, our taxpayer funds going to this. We need to make sure that we're giving all our locals as much opportunity as possible. Go ahead.
Do we know?
I think it's a fair point, Councilman, and I just wanted you to know that the investors in this project, both on the general partnership side and the limited partnership side, I don't know the exact number, but are probably 95% from North Florida and the surrounding counties. Some of those investors are local contractors. It's very important to us. We've used those folks. In past years, I've owned a firm called Prosser, which we were extensively involved with the local contractors, both from a horizontal and a vertical side of things. So as it relates to 40%, I don't know if we'll get there. I can tell you that we are using all local contractors thus far, but as Ed spoke, there are some very specialty things, as you can imagine, from a procurement standpoint that have to come from Spain because of the technology. But we will do our best to use local. This whole project is about North Florida.
All right, very good. Thank you. All right, no other speakers in the queue. Let's open a ballot, record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
All right, by your action, you've approved 2025-0776. Next item, number 13, 2025-0777. Can I get a motion on amendment? I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair of the committee, the amendment will place a revised economic development unit on file to correct the reference JSEB amount. By accident, the full amount of the grant was included as the required JSEB, or the desired JSEB amount, and as previously stated, that's at 20% of whatever the city puts in towards a project. There are various scriveners in the agreement and in the bill that also need to be fixed.
Very good. No speakers in the queue. All in favor say yea. Yea. Any opposed? Likewise, none. The amendment carries. Can I get a motion second on the bill as amended? No speakers in the queue. Open the ballot. Record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-0777. Next, item 14, 2025-0778. Can I get a motion on the amendment? I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair of the committee, same amendment on this one, placing a revised agreement on file to correct that JSEB amount and scriveners, and then also scriveners within the bill.
All right, no speakers in the queue. All in favor of the amendment say yea. Yea. Any opposed? Likewise, none. Amendment carries. Can a motion second on the bill approve as amended? I've got a motion and a second. No speakers in the queue. Open the ballot. Record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you approve 2025-0778. Item 15, we've taken action. 16, we've taken action. And that gets us to item 17, 2025-0782. And I need to open the public hearing. And I've got one speaker, Mr. John J. Nooney. You've got 3 minutes to speak to the specific bill.
All right. Hello, I am John J. Nooney, Jacksonville City Council Resolution 2023-0819. I'm in City Council District 4, CPAC 3, School Board District 3. All right, yeah, this is a public hearing, and 2025
Address, please.
0782 8356 Bascom Road, Jacksonville, Florida. And all right, there's two parts to this. It's a neighborhoods rules TEU, but it's not in waterways. We're going to be naming a building and a street. And, it's Catherine Street. And I just really I support the legislation. I just want to talk and share a little bit about the history of it. Catherine Street, I always think of 2016-18. And that was, on the South Bank, which was Catherine Street. So this is now on the North Bank, Catherine Street. And on the South Bank with Catherine Street, that goes back to a find project. And, I'll always remember Lori Boyer, my councilwoman, Ashley Smith Juarez. You had, the school superintendent, Dr. Vitti. JEA, unbelievable, huge partner. And, okay, I'm talking about the naming of the street. Okay. Well, again, with Catherine Street on the North Bank, I look at our two Navy veterans. Back then it was Jim Love and Kevin Cazell. And that was, with Catherine Street, part of a Jacksonville Waterways Commission, meeting. And, and it was their idea. These, it was brilliant. And so anyway, I just want to share the history. I'm in support of it. I'm just down to 30-some seconds. But, here's River Dance, 2005. And so anyway, with Jim Love, Kevin Cazell, 26 feet of Catherine Street, right next to what was the USS Adams. Now we have the Orlick. And, it's tourism. And so I'm in complete and total support of the legislation. And, we're marketing to the world, to the world. So I support it. There's more public hearings on it. And thank you for listening.
All right, thank you. The public hearing now will be continued to November 17th, and we will defer. Item number 18, 2025-0783. Can I get a motion on amendment? I've got a motion second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair of the committee, the amendment would correct the name of the Prime Osborne Convention Center and then placed a revised property exchange agreement on file to revise the performance schedule extension authority of the DIA to 6 months, and then also correct various scriveners.
All right, no speakers in the queue. All in favor say yea. Yea. Any opposed likewise? None. Motion carries. Amendment carries. So I've got a motion and a second on the bill as amended. No speakers in the queue. Open the ballot, record your vote. I can't get it to... Eric. No, I got it. Okay.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
All right. By your action, you've approved 2025-0783. All right, next item number 19, 2025-0794. Can I get a motion on the amendment?
Mr. Chair, we're asking that this be moved as a substitute, if the committee could consider that.
Change to a substitute. So I get a motion and a second on the amendment to change to a substitute.
You don't need to do, so what we're asking is that instead of moving it as an amendment, we just move it as a substitute. And Mr. Peterson will explain it. The nature of the amendment won't change. It's going to be as exactly outlined in your agenda as will be described by Mr. Peterson. The reason we're requesting it be moved as a substitute is because of the number of changes that would need to be made. It's simpler for myself and the auditor's office to prepare it as a substitute as opposed to an amendment, which could end up ultimately being longer than the bill itself. So that's the only reason we're asking this be offered as a substitute instead of an amendment.
All right. Can I get a motion and a second on the substitute? I've got a motion and a second on the bill as a substitute. No speakers in the queue. All in favor say yea. Yea.
Mr. Chair, would you like Mr. Peterson to explain the items that are part of the substitute
Yes.
before you vote on it?
Yes, Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair to the committee. So these will be marked under the amendment section on your page 15 of your agenda. First would be to include ferrets within the listing of animals. We believe that they were previously included by other categorizations, but determined that they were not. Secondly, we're just revising the definition of a hobby breeder to include those who breed for profit, sale, or trade. Striking a should and replacing it with a shall. Revising the vaccination language to clarify the requirements, reference exemptions allowed under our code and also Florida statutes, and then also clarify when the official certificate of veterinary inspection certificates are required, and then striking references to animal shelters and rescue groups that would not be applicable. Adding current language from our code, section 462.1008, 1010, and 1012. Those were inadvertently struck in this rewrite, and they need to remain. Revising Part 18 of Chapter 462. That is the section of our code that lays out all of the fines and fees for violations of all of the different parts of Chapter 462. Those will need to be updated as the code section have changed with this rewrite. Correcting various Scribner's errors, and then attaching exhibits 1 and 2, which are the repeals of certain sections of Chapter 462 to the bill. They were inadvertently excluded from the original filed version.
All right, thank you. No speakers in the queue. All in favor of the substitute, say yay. 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 Any opposed likewise? None. I've got a motion and a second on the bill as substituted. No speakers in the queue. Open a ballot, record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you have approved 2025-0794 as substituted. Item number 20, 2025-0795. Can I get a motion on the amendment? I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. No discussion. No speakers in the queue. All in, Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair to the committee, the amendment will correct an ordinance reference, strike a subsection that should have been labeled as C, unstrike that someone can still be a Duval resident when it relates to that less than a year time frame, and then correct various Scribner's errors.
All right, no speakers in the queue. All in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye. Any opposed likewise? None. Motion carries. Amendment carries. Can I get a motion and a second on the bill as amended? I got a motion and a second on the bill as amended. Open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-0795. Item 21, we've done taken action on. Item 22, 2025-0810 on second. Item 23, 2025-0811 on second. Item number 24, 2025-0812. Can I get a motion on emergency? I've got a motion and a second on the emergency. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? What's the nature of the emergency? Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair to the committee. This relates to supplemental guidance that is issued annually by the Office of Management and Budget. That compliance supplement has not been issued. It's usually issued in the May to June timeframe annually, and it has not been issued, which is preventing organizations from turning in their audits to the city as it relates to grant dollars they've received, because an auditor's not going to sign off on an audit until they've made sure that they followed that supplemental guidance to make sure they're in compliance. And so since that has not been issued, entities that have their audits due to us, either are already due or are upcoming, will not be able to meet the required time frame and would go on the city's non-compliance list. So the reason for the emergency is to get this put in as soon as possible so that entities are aware that they would not be out of compliance, and to address the timeliness that is outlined in our ordinance code.
All right. So we've got a motion and a second on the emergency. All in favor, say yay. Yay. Any opposed likewise? None. Emergency carries. Can I get a motion and a second on the amendment? I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair of the committee, the amendment will just clarify the dollar amount ranges for the audit reports of grant recipients. So the language as prepared said that it would go from 100,000 up to the threshold established by the Code of Federal Regulations, which is $1 million. But the intent is for it to be from 100,000 to 999,999. You would be required for a certain audit, and then $1 million thereafter. So the amendment's technically just a $1 change in those who would be required to report based on the type of audit that they would owe the city.
All right. I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. No other discussion. All in favor say yea. Yea. Any opposed likewise? None. Amendment carries. Can I get a motion and a second on the bill as an emergency as amended? All right. I've got a motion and a second. Mr. Boland.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I appreciate Mr. Peterson walking us through the rationale of the emergency of this. It certainly applies to that. But I have to tell you, almost 7 years I've been on this council, I've looked up to master the Munich Code. And Mr. Peterson set me off to the Code of Federal Regulations next. So I have a whole new set of codes that I have to understand, and I was bound and determined to make sure I understood exactly what I was introducing in this bill. And so, as you heard, it's housekeeping on one faction to the amount of $1, but the language is such that it may change in the future. The federal regulation may change in the future. The bill stated as it is doesn't require us to have to come back to that. And then secondly, as he correctly pointed out, this is helping many of our PSGs and other nonprofits staying compliant. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Murray. You're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I want to be a co-sponsor because I'm always preaching from this particular point about how important it is to do those audits and to make sure that those who receive grants, they fill out that information so that we can verify where those funds have been spent. So absolutely, place me as a co-sponsor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. There's no other speakers on the queue. Open the ballot and record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-0812. Next item, 2025-0814 is on second. Item number 26, 2025-0815 is on second. And that brings us to the end of our agenda. Any final comments from the committee? Mr. Boland.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I didn't want to raise this as we were going through the 5 points bid conversation. And I don't mean this to be pejorative with respect to the JSO, but I was a little concerned when we heard the fact that JSO was not in a position to have an ongoing presence at 5 points. And why that is. As you know, we've made significant investment in JSO over the course of years. And I'd love to hear from perhaps the zone chief or district chief to talk about their inability to have an ongoing presence, particularly in community areas like this one and others. And maybe we can get some point down the road for have JSO come and speak to the challenges they have in having an ongoing presence, particularly in hotspots like 5 points. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. No other speakers in the queue. We are adjourned. Thank you, sir.